Good evening, folks. I thought I had this scheduled for 8 p.m. Turns out, I guess I scheduled it for 7 p.m. I'm not really sure how that happened, but I hope there are people here to watch. This will be the reveal number 412. It is a 1942D plastic tube roll. My apologies again if I am late. It appears as though I am for some reason. I thought I scheduled this for 8 p.m. I thought it was for 8 and 9 for the two tonight. I will go ahead and get started on it now, though. This is our roll, 1942D. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can bust this tape open before I try to cut it. I prefer not to use a blade if I don't have to. And I might actually be able to get into this. Again, anybody here ever tapes a tube shut, don't use Scotch tape. Scotch tape is horrible stuff for taping rolls together. Okay, here we go. Hello to JJ Attic, P. Adams, and Penny Hoarder. The three that I know are here. There's Dennis. Okay, I'm going to pour these out. It looks like I've got a really good roll going on here, it appears. I always get one stuck at the end of the tube on these stupid Harris tubes. Do not like H.E. Harris tubes at all. Alright. Here we go. We're all good, done, gun, ready. Let's go. Coin number 1. Well, there we go. JJ Addict happens to be in the house. Let's see what he gets. Let's see here. Get this a little closer to the subject. It looks like we could have something here. As soon as I can get my lighting set up right. We may or may not have anything. It looks like it could just be hits in and around the Mitmark area. Now, let's see. Let's get some exposure on this and see what we can see. Yeah, it looks like it's probably just hit around the Mitmark area. There are double die reverses and double die obverses to be watching for in 1942D, so we will be checking the obverse and reverse of every different die. Hello, Eric and Stanley, Malcolm, Angie, Crispy. A long list of people here today. I appreciate everyone being patient with me. I did not realize I was late. I came on to start prepping for the show because I thought it was going to be at 8 p.m. because I usually schedule these evening shows at 8 and 9 p.m. But I hit the show and there were a bunch of people waiting for me and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. That's not supposed to happen. Alright, here we go. Coin number 2 goes to Taco John. See what we got for Taco John. I'm trying to get my lighting set up. Yeah, that's a little better. Try to get settled in a little bit with this roll. Now we got north and south die scratches in and around the Mitmark and date area. Let's see if that turns into anything. Some of this could be just a bit because of the confusion around the house today. My wife's Aunt Vera passed away today. She had a pretty bad bout with cancer over the last 6 months. And poor Aunt Vera passed on today. It's a little bit of a confusing day. Well, I thought, was this show scheduled for 8 p.m. or was it scheduled for 7 p.m.? I thought it was scheduled for 8 p.m. Then I saw it was scheduled for 7 p.m. or was it 7 p.m.? Might have been 7 p.m. Central. I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, I got people here. I got my friends here watching this role unfold. And I'm here. And we're all happy. And everything is good. I shall pass condolences on to my wife. Thank you very much. Because we have the bulldog, and we can't really travel to a funeral with a bulldog, we are going to separate this weekend. She's going to go to Tennessee, where the service will be, and I'm going to stay here in North Carolina with the puppy. Eric now, coin number 4. Looking to get into something. But man, whoever was here for that 1960 roll today, that 1960D roll, that was a fantastic roll. Probably so far the roll of 2022. We did really, really well with that. I have 2 rolls this evening, I believe. I've got 2 rolls. This one on a 54D. And then tomorrow, daytime, we'll be doing a 1962D and a 2011 Philadelphia. And then I believe tomorrow evening we get into the 1949 and 1944s. Or maybe it's not tomorrow evening, because tomorrow evening I think I'm pretty sure tomorrow evening I'm doing the proof pull for the Lincoln Cents. And then it'll be over the weekend we'll do the one for the nickels. This is not the gemmiest of rolls, but they are red uncirculated coins. It's not a real flashy BU roll. The coins are nice, though. I mean, they're decent red coins. It just looks very different when they're under magnification like this. And when you get them in hand, it's like, was that really the coin he showed us? Looks a lot nicer. And they do tend to look nicer when they're not quite so blown up. When they're in hand, you're looking at them under a loop. It's like, oh, well, this looks fine. This coin right here is actually a nice gem, nice 65. It doesn't necessarily look like it when you're blowing it up this much, but you back away from these a little bit, man, they look nice. They're nice coins. Here, we'll take a look at this one under the dyno real quick. Let me throw the dyno light on. See? Yeah, got a good looking coin here. There's the reverse. There's the obverse. Come on, coin, get into focus. There we are. So it's not a bad coin at all. Spots on the nickels. Why don't you email me about that? I might be able to get you into that. I'm kind of skittish about saying I've got them here and now and then not having them later. I'd rather you just email me about it and I'll let you know. Next one up is for Malcolm. Malcolm, we haven't found anything yet for varieties in this roll. I'd like to find some varieties. That would be nice. The penny roll or the penny proof pull that we'll be doing tomorrow, those are going to go back to 1953, all the way back to 1953, and there will be quite a few wheats in there. Other dates like 1970s, there will be a number of 70s in there that haven't been looked at, other than just to buy a roll of 70s proof and just start putting them into flips. I don't actually look through them and pull anything out. So there could be small dates, but it's going to be unlikely, of course. But it's possible. Double dies would be a lot more possible, actually. Okay, another 42D. This one's a second example, or at least a second example, of the first die that we pulled out of this roll. Relatively nice coins, they are. A few marks here and there, but they're pretty nice. And the proof pull for the nickels isn't just proofs. That's right, it's not just proofs. It'll be proof nickels plus AU to BU war nickels. There'll be some war nickels in there, some silver war nickels in better condition, along with a bunch of proofs. So you'll have your opportunity to pick up some proof coins and nickels, and also possibly some silver war nickels. Maybe even have RPMs on them, who knows. Eric's coin has a spot, unfortunately. It's a, wow, this is a tiger striped Woody. Very bold stripes on it. See what the reverse looks like. And no stripes on the reverse. Isn't that interesting? Heavily striped obverse. No stripes on the reverse. It is now 8 o'clock. Welcome to anyone who is just showing up, who decided to come in during what I thought would be the broadcast time. I think also this coming week I'm thinking about doing a singles pull, which is basically one price you pay per coin, and say if it will really just, it'll all depend on, well, see, I'm seeing this again. I'm thinking that could be an RPM to the north on the D. I've seen it a few times now, but I just don't think so. I would think it would be a little stronger than this. But anyway, the singles pull that I'll be doing next week is going to be probably up to 300 coins. And if I do, say I do a singles pull that's $4 a coin, you can expect coins up to $15 in value for $4. That's kind of what I'm thinking about doing for a singles pull. Singles pull is not only proofs and Lincoln cents, but it could also be nickels, dimes, quarters, all coins of decent value. Different denominations, different conditions, and different values. On a $4 pull, they would range from about $2 or $3 value all the way up to $15 or more. And your value back will always exceed the price you paid. Your value back will always exceed the price you pay. That will be a guarantee. Yep, it looks like we could just end up with a 1942 roll with some tiger stripe coins in it. May not have any double dies or RPMs in it. Maybe. We'll have to see. Another one for Crispy here. Crispy's coin's kind of crispy. Wow. So kind of got toned down just a little bit sitting in the tube. Let's look at the reverse. No doubling on the reverse. Let's move on now. Coin number 15. Eric again. Went to a local fried chicken eatery for dinner this evening. They just built a new location and moved into it, and I thought, well, given that I live in Smithfield, and the place is called Smithfields, and they have 40 locations around the state, I would assume that this is the central hub of their locations. They just built a new location, shut down the old one, and moved into the new one, so I'm kind of figuring, okay, well, they must be a pretty good place if they're expanding like they are and building new places. We went in there, and their fried chicken was par, maybe. Par, subpar. Wasn't great. We had a tailgate special, which included baked beans and potato salad and coleslaw and hush puppies along with the chicken. And the potato salad tasted more like a pie filling than a potato salad. It was very sweet. It did not taste like potato salad should, as far as I'm concerned. And the baked beans were way too sweet. Had a lot of sugar in them. Coleslaw was okay. Hush puppies were okay. But overall, the meal was tend to be overrated. Didn't taste so good. So, we're having like a sugar withdrawal fit or something to that effect. When I eat sugar, it makes me really tired because it affects my diabetes. And really didn't expect to have that kind of a sugar rush attack after drinking a cup of sweet tea with baked beans, potato salad, and fried chicken. I kind of figured that would be more or less kind of safe. And turns out I had way too much sugar. It was like I ate a whole cake all by myself. It was not good for me at all. So, we're scratching Smithfield's off the list. There's a few other decent fried chicken spots here in town, here in this area, that they tend to do a relatively decent job with fried chicken. So we're just gonna scratch them off the list and not go back. Anybody here who makes any trips to North Carolina, let me know. I know of a few different places around that are good. and other places that are not so good. Yeah, let me know you plan on hitting the state, and I'll try to help you out with making some plans if you like. I've done quite a bit of reading on North Carolina, so I know a little bit about the state now. Heck, I've lived here for almost 3 years. Gosh, almost 3 years. Well, I hate that this roll turns out to be one that really just doesn't have any real activity in it. This one was an ender. I got this out of a tube, so it could have changed. This was a Batdorf roll at one time, because that's what causes those scrapes. The circle of death on the coin is caused by the Batdorf wrapper, a wrapping machine. Now number 21 for Malcolm. A lot of these appear to be one of 2 to 3 different dies. There's not a whole lot of diversity in this roll, but at the same time, it is an original roll because a lot of these coins are repetitive as to what die created them. A lot of these I've seen at least 2 or 3 times within this roll. Here's number 22 now, Dennis. Yeah, nothing like finding a great die variety that was damaged by the packaging process. I've been there before. It's never fun. But hey, look at it this way. At least it wasn't a 69S double die or something, right? Gosh, if somebody could find a Batdorf roll, an original Batdorf roll of 1969S, that had a double die facing out with a circle of death on it, what could they get for that roll without opening it? You going to assume that there's more of them in the roll? I mean, it would be a pretty safe assumption, right? If I had all the money in the world to spend, I already don't have a whole lot of common sense, so we can throw that part out the window. I might be willing to pay $50,000 or $60,000 for a roll, maybe even more than $50,000 or $60,000 for a roll that was showing a 69S double die on the end. That'd be really cool. That would be the speculator's roll of the century. Would I open it? I don't know. Might be one I'd probably rather sell as I bought it. It's one for you, man. I should really occupy myself a little more with checking the ends of the rolls that I do open, because I don't even look at the end coins. I just look at the date and the mint and the basic condition of the roll and go with it. Hope everything in the middle turns out nice, you know. Sometimes I get bit by that, and sometimes we end up turning out rolls like that 60D roll we opened today. 8 double die, number 4 coins in that roll. 8 of them. Each one of them worth a minimum of about $40. And then a RPM number 4, which that's the first one of those I've ever seen in a bank wrapped roll. RPM number 4 for the 1960D. That's a good $75, $50 to $75. And so, yeah, that turned out to be a serious windfall roll. The sad part, I don't have any of its counterparts. Hey, that was the only Louisville wrapped roll I got in that particular lot, which means that was the only one of those I had to open. As if I had another one, I would probably do another reveal on it. Give more different people a chance to belly up to the bar and take something home. Gosh, I am not finding anything worthwhile in this roll. We're past the middle. We're finding coins, but nothing great. Bunch of red, then a few red-brown BU coins. 63, 64 for most of them for the grade. If anybody happens to hear me yawn, well, it's in part because I'm diabetic and I just ate way too much sugar. Accidentally, because a chicken dinner is not supposed to have a bunch of sugar in it. But I also have taken my medication in part because my blood sugar needed some help, and in part because I do every evening before I go to bed, because some of the medication I take makes me tired. Well, here I am, a little more than the middle through the first reveal of 2 that I'll be doing this evening. And then I think very shortly thereafter I'm going to crawl into the sack. Get to sleep early tonight, and get up in the morning, start working on the final prep for the scent proof pull that'll be done tomorrow evening. Hopefully everybody will be there to watch. It's going to be kind of fun. There's going to be some nice proofs. So I'm even going to put some 79S Type 2 Lincoln scent proofs in there. They're not highly valuable, but they are a little more difficult to find. So there'll be some 79S Type 2 proofs in that bunch too. Oh, man. Timothy, you got it, buddy. You tell Mr. Mike we're all thinking of him. We've seen this die a number of times already. Gosh, we were just asking about him yesterday, and it seemed like everything was going okay for him. That's just too bad. I'm so sorry about that. You know, Aunt Vera passed today, but she was 80 years old and had enjoyed a full life with a lot of loving family around her all the way to the end. So she's been in so much pain over the last few months. Now she's out of pain. Doesn't hurt anymore. So we're kind of happy for that. You know, sometimes, sometimes death can actually be a good thing because it kind of takes you away from the problems you were having while you were alive, And people get sick and they get to a point where being alive is more of a chore than a blessing. Seen this die before a few times. Pretty decent coin, but we've seen no doubling. Obverse or reverse. So I just hope that Aunt Vera's family will be healthy and safe for their gathering to celebrate her life, probably this coming weekend. And my wife will be making that trip. And I will be staying here to take care of our puppy so he doesn't have to travel and be in places he doesn't know, because he doesn't do great. He does a wonderful job riding in the car, and he does a wonderful job traveling, but once we get there, you got to do something with him. And funeral's just not what you do for a dog. So here's one for Stanley. See what Stanley gets out of this. I think it's probably about time to throw in the towel on this roll. We got just a bunch of decent regular 1942 Lincoln Cents, 1942D Lincoln Cents. We don't have anything really of merit in here. Just a bunch of coins. Coin number 35 turns out to be normal, just like the 34 before it. Here's number 36. This one goes to Crispy. And it's invisible. No, here it is. Another one, same die. You can see these. There's these squiggly lines up above the 9, and then these little guys down here, these dashes below the D, and then the north and south scratches through the date. It's a very telling bunch of markers. But you can definitely easily tell when you run into the same die as this one. We've already seen a number of these on the flip side. There's nothing there. Taco John now. This one appears maybe different. It is different. But this matches another that we have been seeing. It also shows no doubling. Obverse or reverse. It's number 38, Paul Hampton. And Paul is another one of those. This has also got a little dash right up at the rim between the S and T of trust. Right there. Being able to recognize that you have seen coins struck by a given die over and over again gives you a real boon in roll hunting like this. First thing it does is it kind of resonates that you have an original tube of coins, that you have an original roll, because original rolls are going to have the same dies over and over again. But the other thing it does, it helps sharpen your memory. It helps keep your memory sharp. Another thing it does is, say that particular die that we have easily got memorized at this point happened to be a double die reverse, you would know by looking at the obverse that you had that double die reverse. Start talking about individual dies and I don't run into another one. I've seen like 10 of those in this roll. The other thing it does, though, is it gives you the opportunity of being able to speed up in the roll just a little bit, because if it does turn out that the marker that you're looking at is familiar and you have seen it a number of times in the roll on normal coins, you will know that that coin also is normal because the markers show you that it's a normal coin. It becomes a lot less important when you're looking through circulated material or material that isn't necessarily from one source, because knowing a given die and watching for that given die in non-original source material has a tendency to just confuse you and pull you away from really studying the attributes if you're trying to memorize a whole bunch of different dies. So it really only does you any good if you're going through a bag or a roll that's from an original source, so that you're only going to have up to a dozen different dies generally. Anything beyond that, it just kind of gets in the way. I've been watching a number of these. This particular die shows a little humpy dumpy little thing right above the D mint mark right up here. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's not an RPM, and I'm just watching that die come and go a number of times. Trying to catch anything I can that might show itself as a double die. But I got nothing here. That's number 43, now number 44. Number 44, 44. So there's another one of them right there. That's another of the same die again. No doubling. Have 44 done now, looking at 45. Hello, Taco John. One of my big winners of the day. You know, this 42S roll is, or 42D roll, I'm sorry, this 42D roll is not showing itself to be all that massively wonderful, where you keep running across the same normal dies over and over again, which it's a good thing because it's telling us we have an original roll. However, it's a bad thing because none of them are die varieties. Number 46 now. This is for Eric. And Eric gets... Yeah. I've seen this roll quite a few times, or this die quite a few times in here. Not that same one again. 47, only 4 coins left. This is one of those 4 coins. This one's for Carl. Let's see what Carl ends up with here. And that die we've seen a number of times. It's got the dash between the S and the T of trust right at the rim. Right up there. Normal coin. 48 now. Stephen. And Stephen's coin is the other somewhat common die to this roll. The normal one. Up to number 49. I'll be right back right after this show. I'm going to go and get myself a drink of water, get the title changed and get things out and get started right away with this OBW 1954 D roll. That one could prove to be very exciting, so we'll just have to watch and see what happens. But I definitely and surely invite you to exit this show at the end and go look for reveal number 413. That'll be the last one we do today. So it should be... and the last coin in the roll turns out to be another one of those. So it doesn't look like we're going to get anything out of this roll for die varieties. Unfortunate, but true. And that's what we have. Oof. Almost did a floor sort on those. Not a good thing. There we go. All 50 coins. Normal coins in this roll. And that's what we've got. Folks, I appreciate you coming by. I will see you in about 5 minutes with a 1954 D-roll on the other side. I'll see you then.